Welcome to the first episode of Hot Air with me, Joshua Robert. And today we are going to talk about being an ally. It is more than just waving a rainbow flag once a year at a pride parade and then calling it a day. In this episode, I'm diving into what it really means to show up for your LGBTQ plus loved ones. Because, spoiler alert, love is wonderful, it's great, but understanding that is where the magic happens. I'm going to be sharing how I navigated conversations with my own family and friends and the moments that made me realize, sure, they love me, but there's definitely room for improvement. And lucky for you, I'm not doing this alone. I am joined by one of my oldest friends who is basically the Beyonce of allyship, and she's got a lot of wise words to share. And thank you so much for tuning in. I am so excited about this podcast. Every episode is going to be very different than the last and very different than the next. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and I wanted it to be more than just a true crime podcast or a shitty dating story podcast or just Real Housewives reviews or something random like that. I want to do something that hopefully people can learn from. People can take little tidbits of information that they're going to get from this podcast, apply it to their life, apply it to their relationships, all while maybe crying, maybe laughing, definitely laughing. We're going to laugh a lot. There's going to be some gossip. There's going to be some dating stories, but there's also going to be a lot of things that I'm learning from therapy. I'm going to have some very qualified guests on to share different ways that they might be navigating breakups. Or I'm going to have a psychic on and we're going to do this reading live. And all of these really fun things that I have planned that I think are going to set Hot Air apart and hopefully one person at a time start to help us all learn new things from each other and grow. So without further ado, let us begin. Oh, are you holding your phone for a reason?
Oh, I was just deleting emails. Sorry.
All the ones I sent you.
My ADHD is really bad today.
That's super. Well, we are going to make this snappy. Get through this baby. Well, hello, Jessica Thompson Faulkner. Welcome to the first episode of Hot Air with me.
Although I have to say it's just Jessica Thompson.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Right. We don't need no man's last name, even if he's your husband or
he is my husband.
Not.
And we kept our names.
Perfect. We love that. Modern love. Isn't it a cute thing? All right.
We love it.
Perfect. We're going to get right into this baby. So I thought it would be appropriate for me to kick off the podcast, not only with you, my oldest friend who could destroy me in probably one sentence, just take me down, cancel me before I start, but also because a lot of the content and episodes that I've been doing have to do a lot with dating and men and therapy and self-help, all good things, but that's not what I want Hot Air to only focus on and be about. And the more I thought about it, the reason I started therapy and started my healing journey almost a year ago was because of family members and friends that I did not feel were supporting me as a proper ally to the LGBTQ plus community could, and how I believe they should. And looking back on that, I was like, that's why I started this healing journey, which kind of led me to this podcast. So that kind of makes sense for me to begin it here, but also because you are an ally to every marginalized group that is not a straight white man. Are you not?
I try my very best. It is continually a work in progress being an ally.
Right. So this episode is basically for anyone who is in need of maybe stepping outside of their bubble and figuring out what it is like to learn what it is like to not be a straight white man. Or perhaps you have someone that could benefit from some of the things we're going to talk about and the lessons that we are going to share on this fine episode of Hot Air. And I like to start, as I've noticed, I mean, this is the first episode, so listeners aren't going to know, but I've been incorporating a lot of little personal stories to kind of hint on why I feel like I'm qualified in my life experiences to talk about these topics. So
we love a story time.
We love story time, but I'm going to preface these stories with saying I'm sharing these because I cannot be the only person who has had these experiences with family members and or friends, but it's also an opportunity to learn what might be and might not be appropriate and what might be offensive to your gay son. So first little story, which kind of led me to the creation of this episode, which you know the story, but feel free to react as though you've never heard it in your life and you're absolutely shocked. Okay.
This is brand new information.
Never been told. So I was in New York a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, with my mom and my aunts, and we were all hanging around in our hotel room. TV was on. There were some commercials playing, and we weren't even talking about anything in relation to this, but out of nowhere, I can't remember if it was my aunt or my mom who said it, but all of them were in agreement, and they were all on the same page in terms of what my mother, I'm going to say it was my mom. I'm pretty sure it was my mom. She said, have you noticed how on commercials nowadays, it's always a gay couple or a mixed race couple? It's never just like a straight white couple anymore, which is like the opposite of what you want to hear your mom say as a gay son, but also my sister is married to a guy from Japan. We have mixed race lesbian couples in our family, and it's not what I would anticipate my mom or my aunts to say or comment on and then be in agreement on, but it's also the way the world is now. And in that moment, I was just like, these bitches don't know anything. And I blamed them for a very, very long time. And I was angry for a long time. And I still don't know how to respond. But that's kind of what this conversation is about, because I don't even know how to approach something like that without just coming off extremely, extremely pissed. Would you like to comment and or elaborate?
I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm going to let you finish your story first.
Okay. Well, that's story number 1. Story number 2, because I don't want to discriminate against one parent. Why not include both? My dad. All the parents are awful sometimes. My dad was visiting, and we bebopped around California, Big Bear, Palm Springs, everywhere. When we were in Palm Springs, anyone who doesn't know, it's a very gay-heavy community. A lot of old, rich gays settle there. So dream one day. And we were at this predominantly gay hotel, which I did not know it was predominantly gay. I had no idea there was going to be a drag show in the lobby that my dad and I would be attending later. But him and I were having a great time. Of course, any extended period of time you spend with your parents, you do find yourself irritated at some point. But I was really just reeling in any of my impatience. I was just being a cool son. And this guy walked into the bar at the hotel, and there was there was a few people in the bar. The guy was wearing jeans, a white tank top, a tutu, and a tiara. And my back was to him. And my dad goes, "What's up with Buddy over there?" And I turn around and I see the guy in the tutu, tiara, jeans, and tank top. And for me seeing that, I'm just like, what does he mean? Like, what Buddy? Like, what are you talking about? But when I realized my dad was basically commenting and or discriminating against this man who had been dressed differently than you might see in the outskirts of Toronto where my parents live, that threw off the entire rest of the trip for me. I was so frustrated and so irritated. And at one point, I was trying to educate him about a few things because my sister's boyfriend is Black and I'm gay. Hello, obviously. How many times can I say that in the first 5 minutes of a podcast episode? I'm a homosexual. And I was trying to educate him at one point, and he's like, "Well, why don't you just write a book about it?" And I was like, "You fucking know what? I will." And I did. And I started writing a book about it.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Don't threaten me with a book about how you can be a better ally. Hopefully that will happen one day, but this episode will be a condensed version of that. So those are the 2 things that kind of brought me to the realization that my family, and I'm going to throw some of my friends in there too, although they love me, they say they support me, they do not care if they say, we don't care if you're gay, we love you. But there's more to it than just loving a gay person, a trans person, a bi person, a lesbian person, a Black person, a brown person, a green person. There's more to just loving and saying we support you versus actually doing the work, learning why we feel so discriminated against, attending the events with the intention to learn about the community and help us grow and be proper allies. There's a very big difference between a true ally and a performative ally, and we will get into those differences. And now I will pass the mic to you virtually. What would you like to say?
Oh, there's just so much to unpack there. I think, first of all, I'm curious as to why your dad's comment set you off. What was it about that experience, about that one particular comment? What did it make you feel?
I think it was so unexpected because in my mind, my family, they were true allies. And I just, for a long time, I just assumed that just because you love me, you were an ally. And I think it was that moment that shifted that mindset to these people. None of them, I'm going to include my step parents, my siblings, none of them have done the work to learn about what it is like outside of themselves and outside of the part of town that they live in. And it was in those moments that I realized they don't see people like me, so they don't actually know what it's like to be me, nor have they made an effort to understand what it's like to be me. And it was those moments with my mom and then my dad that kind of made me realize that they were not allies, in my opinion.
I think I think it's probably a very common experience for people to have where, their family or their friends could love them and be there for them. But then when it comes to things like voting or any of those other opportunities that they have to show they're a real ally, they're faced with the experience that while their family or their friends may love them as an individual, they look at them as the exception.
Mm-hmm.
And that can happen with people with racial issues, gender issues, with sexuality issues. It's that, oh, well, you're different. Or, yeah, we love you, but, and I think one of the most important things about being an ally is that it's bigger than just one person.
Right.
And doing the work of being an ally is so much more than learning the history. It's about checking your own privilege and becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. And if you truly love someone who is in a community that is other than you, you're going to do the work to support and love and understand that entire community and not just the individual.
Correct. Love that. That was a beautiful way to put a little bow on that. And since you did such a great job, we're going to transition, good choice of words, to true allyship versus performative allyship, because I love a definition. And I think that's the simplest way to show people, your family or friends, be like, here is the definition of what you're doing versus what you could be doing. So a true ally, genuine support and advocacy for marginalized communities through consistent, meaningful actions. True allies educate themselves, amplify LGBTQ plus voices, challenge discrimination, and use their privilege, as you said, to create positive change, even when it's uncomfortable or when no one is watching. So it's more about what you're doing behind closed doors. You're not just showing up to your gay son's wedding. We love and we support you. What are you doing after that? What are you doing to educate yourself? And how are you using, which I like that you said that, your privilege, because you can use those platforms as a straight white man to help change other people's minds and support us and show that not everyone has to be sometimes terrified of the LGBTQ plus community. Do you agree?
I do. And I actually think one of the most powerful ways you can be an ally is speaking up when those people that you are supposedly being an ally to are not in the room. It's challenging people when they say things or do things that are contradictory to what you say your beliefs are. If I'm in a room with a bunch of people and someone makes a homophobic joke, I'm going to call them out, regardless of whether someone queer is in the room or not, because that is the work. That is my responsibility to do as someone with privilege, because somebody who's queer may not feel comfortable addressing that in the moment. So that is a very important part of being an ally.
Right. And that's the opposite would be being a performative ally, which is surface level support that is more about appearing progressive than driving real change. Performative allies may post on social media during Pride Month, but fail to support the LGBTQ plus community people in their personal lives or challenge harmful policies. It often centers the ally's image rather than the needs of the community. So a great example of that is one of my sisters, her boyfriend's friend was talking shit about the gays. And it was very clear to her that he did not like the gays. And she informed me later that he was saying whatever he was saying. She didn't tell me specifically, but I imagine it was faggot, homo, like whatever, the normal things that these straight men say. But she did not speak up. She did not stand up for me. And she told me she didn't say anything. I asked her, what did you do? She's like, well, I don't know. I just didn't know what to say, because she has not done the work. in order to know that being a proper ally, a true ally, would require you to stand up and be like, my brother is gay, and I find that extremely rude. And she could use the education that she has. She's very smart and she's very educated on LGBTQ issues, which is why I find it so interesting that she didn't stand up for me in that moment. But I mean, I don't even know what I said after that. Like, I don't even know. The whole point of this is that I wouldn't even know how to approach telling her that I was upset about that. That it's like, you need to do better and support your fucking brother. Because I would stand up for her. I have, when a guy came up to her and was grinding on her at the club. 5'7" me pushed the fucker off and like went ape shit. And I was like, I will beat the living shit out of you, because he was molesting my sister at a nightclub. It was wild in Hollywood. And I will stand up for her. But why is it so difficult? And this is a question I guess I can pose to you. Why is it so difficult for people like her to just stand up and say, what you're saying is wrong? I find it rude. And you're a cunt.
I mean, if I'm going to be very honest, I would say there are situations where a woman might not feel safe speaking up. However, I think there are a couple different things that you can use to say the things you want to say without sounding confrontational. And one of my favorites is, well, what did you mean by that? Can you explain that a little bit more? I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. And just phrasing it in a way where it's like you're playing dumb. Like, well, what did you mean about that joke? Oh, that's a strange thing to say. That's another one of my favorites. That's a very strange thing to say.
Very odd.
It's a very odd thing to say, because it can be difficult if you've never done it to find the balance between maybe speaking up for what you know is right while not being confrontational. And I think again, it is the responsibility of each person to figure out how they are most comfortable diffusing the situation and then finding the tools to be able to do it in a way that's most appropriate for them. But still, at the end of the day, doing the work to figure out what is best for you so that you can stand 10 toes down and stand up for people that you say you care about.
Right. And this is such an important time, especially here in the United States. I mean, all around the world, there are still countries in which it is illegal to be gay. There are still countries in the world that you get the death penalty for being gay and or a wild prison sentence. And in the United States specifically, even in California, I live in California. My whole entire family lives in Toronto or outside of Toronto. And they all think that everyone in California is so progressive and so left leaning and that I am safe and everything is fine. That is not the way it is. And even if it was, what about the rest of the country? Because I'm not just thinking about me. I'm not just thinking about, oh, I'm safe in California. When the president became the president, I was devastated because I knew that I would be more safe than someone in Oklahoma or in Texas, but I'm not just thinking about what is going to affect me. And I think that a lot of people, the ones that do support their gay sons or daughters or trans family members, I think that they're only thinking about their circumstance and how life is going to affect that one singular individual. But as you said, it's a community. So I'm safe. And my family, until I told them I'm not safe. People drive down the street, yell faggot out the window. They drive down the street with their trucks and their Trump flags. They specifically target the community that I live in with swastika spray painting on the rainbow fence down the road. Like, there were windows that were shot out in different shops because it is the gay neighborhood and it's targeted. But it's so hard for them to understand and comprehend that. Although I am safer than if I lived in Texas, I'm worried about the gays that live in Texas. It stresses me out. I cry over it. It's like a terrifying time for other people that are like me. And that is hard for people to grasp and understand that are not gay, that have not done the work.
Well, and I think it just goes back to a certain sense of privilege. It's, and I don't mean privilege necessarily in a good way. I mean, people who have been privileged to have not been forced to think about other people in relation to themselves. Oh, that could be happening over here, but it's not happening to me. So I'm not concerned. And that is, again, a huge part of being an ally. It's recognizing that what happens to one person happens to all of us. There's a great sense of pain and trauma. And it is very emotional. It's a very heavy load to carry. And
heavy load. Heavy load.
But being a good ally means really trying to understand the entire gravity of what someone is going through. And that does not always necessarily mean what is happening directly to them.
And let's just boil this down and make it really simple. The LGBTQ plus community is more likely to be murdered than if you were a straight person, straight woman, straight man. Trans community is at a much higher risk. I believe it's 4 times more likely to be murdered.
And Black trans women are the most affected. Yes.
Yeah. We have a higher rate of suicide because we're fucking bullied and tormented our whole lives. And then we grow up and we become adults and the bullying doesn't stop there. People do not understand that. Any terrible statistic that you could probably pick, the gay community and specifically LGBTQ plus people of color are at a much higher risk than if you were a straight white man or woman. And I'm not sure why that is so hard for straight white men and women to digest. I know that a lot of them feel like they're being targeted because they're being blamed for a lot of these things. But the fact of the matter is that they're the ones that created the issues and they're also the ones that are targeting us. It's not other gays murdering other gays. Yes, that happens. But other gays are not performing hate crimes against other gays. Like it's a straight man driving a Trump truck down the street, yelling shit out the window and then doing Lord knows what else. I feel like does that ring true?
I would go one step further.
I thought I was going too far.
I would say anyone who voted for your president is directly responsible for anything that could potentially happen to a queer person or a person of color
a woman
or a trans person. Yes.
Yeah.
It is wildly frustrating. And I believe that you are personally connected to some people who have said they are your friends and who voted for Trump. And it doesn't surprise me. And it also doesn't surprise me that they cannot understand why it would affect you so deeply to the point where you may not even want to have a relationship with them.
Right.
And personally, I believe you should not have a relationship with them because the privilege of being your friend is a very special privilege and they do not deserve it.
My friendship specifically or friendship in general?
I was specifically talking about you.
Okay, great.
But yes, friendship in general.
Just pumping my ego up.
Cut off the Trump supporters.
Right. Yeah, that was a very hard pill for me to swallow. You know, I have some friends that are like, I'm just looking at policy here. I want to pay lower taxes. That's it. But how can you only look at policy when someone is quite literally stripping away freedom of speech, the rights of not just the LGBTQ plus community, but women potentially with the abortion thing. I mean, I hate saying the abortion thing with abortion laws. And now there is only male and female in the legally, which is
unhinged.
What you're assigned at birth. If you were assigned male at birth or female at birth, that's what your fucking ID says now. So you are no longer considered legally trans in the eye of the law, which is mind-boggling.
Insanely harmful.
That has made it very challenging for me to be around people that voted for him. And I personally would rather pay twice as much in taxes and just have equal rights and equal opportunity for the people on the planet.
Canada.
Oh, it's too cold. But it's not looking like such a terrible idea. It's only going to get worse. That's the thing. And I'm sure there will be a follow-up episode on all the fucking insane things that will be happening to the LGBTQ plus community. I'm scared for Pride Month. And this is not that far away. It's June, is it not? Pride Month is June.
Girl.
Right?
Robert.
It is June, right?
You're the queer, shouldn't you know?
Yeah, but
honey.
Now I'm second guessing myself.
It's
Just
June.
confirm.
It's June, baby. It's June.
Got it. Sweet. Super. All right. So now that we've talked shit about everyone, I think let's offer some examples of how people can begin to educate themselves. Let's say, mom and dad, this is what you could do. Siblings, this is what you could do. Cousins, family members, friends that maybe go to Pride to see their favorite DJ, but they don't actually go to the walks to support the gay community. These are some things that you could do. And I love to say that if you want to learn how to bake a fucking cake, guess what you do? You fucking Google it, okay? You pick up your phone or your computer and you Google it. Google is free. Anytime you want to learn how to do something, if the battery on your computer fucking dies and you got to replace it, you Google it. YouTube University is my go-to for everything.
Not if your computer is dead. Your computer battery died.
Okay, that was a bad example. Well, you can Google it on your phone. Whatever. Anytime you want to learn something, we all Google it. So if you feel like you are not supporting your friends and family, all you have to do is, how can I be a better ally to the LGBTQ plus community? It's very fucking simple. And the fact that most people probably have not done that is, well, they should be embarrassed because it's very, very easy to Google. There's resources like documentaries. We've got books. We've got a shitload of podcasts out there. All you have to do is Google which ones are going to be helpful so you can support your gay little fucking son and stand by him as a ally. And we can encourage open conversations about the LGBTQ plus community, about gender identity. That is something that's so hard for straight people, I find, to understand the they, them of it. If you want to be he, they, or whatever it is, sexual orientation, people are fluid. Some are bi. Some are, what are the other terms? Like there's pansexual. There's a million different things on the spectrum that people don't understand because they don't identify as that. But it doesn't mean it's not real.
I would like to say that I think the first thing, to any allies who are listening, the first thing you really need to do is just sit with yourself and realize that there are going to be times when you feel uncomfortable. And that is okay. And if you don't know where to start, the one thing you can do right away is say to the person you know and love, hey, listen, I feel like I'm not doing a great job, or maybe I feel like I could be doing a better job. And I just want you to know I'm going to be working on it. And whenever you, as the ally, feel like you are uncomfortable or defensive, take some time alone and sit with it. Going through your allyship can be really challenging. No one is saying it's not. There is so much you don't know. And there are also going to be people who say, you're doing it right, you're doing it wrong. The point is that you are going to try. And whenever you feel uncomfortable, just sit with it. And the next thing you need to understand is that you're never going to know everything and you're never going to get it 100% right.
Right.
And I think if you can just take those two pieces of information moving forward, you will be doing so much better than many other people.
Is that it?
Well, I mean, I could go on for a while, but
no, that's it.
I'm trying to keep it succinct.
You just gave me a funny look. No, you're so correct. You're so correct, Jessica. That's so right. Anytime you do something new, you're not going to be good at it right away. Whether it's skiing, tennis, sucking dick, you're not going to be a professional right from the get-go. You got to learn the tricks of the trade. You got to do a little Googling, do a little research. Learn. When you do tennis, you're going to get a tennis coach. If you have a gay child, ask them questions. I think it's fair to be open to asking them for feedback or what they prefer, or if it's somebody that has different pronouns, ask them about it and try to understand it. Like you said, it's not going to feel comfortable. It's going to feel very awkward because you feel like you're going to misstep and you're going to make mistakes, and you will. But that's the whole point in learning. When we start playing tennis, we're shit at it. We fuck up. We look like idiots. It's embarrassing at times. But once you start doing it more and more and practice it more, you're going to get better. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes. One other thing that I'm kind of like on the fence about is allies going to LGBTQ plus events. So taking them to Pride, or if there's some
Can I just jump in and say my number one biggest hate?
Yes, say it.
Women who take their fucking bachelor parties and go to the village, who have never normally been there. Every time I see one of those, it sends me into a blind rage.
Right. It's I really don't like it.
It makes me feel like they are coming to view the gay community.
They're coming
like
to
they
the
would
zoo.
go to the zoo.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I hate it. It's different if you go there often. Like you're always in the gayborhood. You're always out with your gay friends. You have a large gay group of friends. So that's different.
Home.
But I feel like the gay clubs and bars are just being taken over by straight women that, like you said, have never been there. And I look around when I go and I'm just like, why are you here? Like, I get it. You feel safe because no man is going to touch on you, but that's a straight man issue and you need to talk to them about it. That's not what this episode is about.
And they are also infringing on the safe space of the queer people.
Right.
I can guarantee you every queer person I know has been bullied by a straight woman. And it might have even been their mom. So when
likely was their mother.
So when I see straight women doing that, it really, really frustrates me. And I ultimately think that there's no resolution to it because there's no like gay test you could take at the door. Hey,
Right.
answer these 5
Mm-hmm.
questions for me.
True. Yeah.
But what I think is important is recognizing when one of your peers might be feeling unsafe. And then again, speaking up and be comfortable being uncomfortable. If there are straight white women in your space who are taking up your space as a straight white woman, if they're doing something completely out of pocket, call them on it.
Call a bitch out. We love calling a
Mm-hmm.
bitch out. But maybe do it kindly so that they do feel like they want to be an ally in the future. Or
Just
right?
call me because I will tell a bitch off.
Do
I
you
will drag
have
her.
Oh God. Now I kind of want to go to the club and fight. Do you have any other, I mean, this can be for me too. Do you have anything else that you would suggest if somebody is trying to be an ally to their friend or family member, things that they can do that maybe goes beyond just the starting with
Therapy.
the education? Therapy is
Go
a
to
great
therapy.
one.
That
Mm-hmm.
is my biggest one, and that is for everyone. And I understand that going to therapy is a privileged resource. But whether you are an ally, whether you're a queer person, whether you're a person of color, whether you experience intersectionality, doing the work on yourself first will always benefit yourself in the end.
Right.
And speaking to allies, the moms, the dads, the sisters, the friends, go to therapy, do some work on yourself because when you are feeling good about yourself, when you have unpacked some of your own trauma and your own baggage, you are so much more comfortable understanding your place in the world.
Yeah.
Because, especially for a lot of white women, we have been the primary focus of what is good, what is pretty, what is great, what is whatever, without even understanding how our fragility has been dangerous to so many other people. And whether that is appropriating our gay friends or, victimizing Black men, women, white women need to just do the work to understand that we are not the only people who exist in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And for all of the parents out there who might be listening to this, you need to just do the work and understand why it was you had kids, what it is you want to get out of being a parent, and how you can affect your children. And do the work to understand why you might be acting a certain way. That will help you so much in the long run.
And loving, here's the thing, is like I say, like, my parents love me and they say they support me. And there are people out there that when they come out of the closet, their parents kick them out of the house and they never speak to them again. So I fully understand that my situation is a lot better than it could be. And I'm very grateful for that. But that doesn't just give everyone an automatic pass and an automatic, oh, you're an ally badge because they love me. I love that they love me. That's so
Absolutely.
nice. But there's so much more to it. And in retrospect, I could have picked up Google. I know you probably have a different perspective on this, but I could have Googled when I realized it hurt me that my family and friends were not being allies. I could have Googled how to communicate with your mom when you feel like she's not supporting you as a gay son, or vice versa with my dad. I'm okay with that. I know by the look on your face, because I can see you that I shouldn't have to continue to do the work. And you know that I feel like I'm always the one that is doing and it's not reciprocated. But I still don't know how to approach them and be like, listen, I feel like you are not being an ally to my community. I feel like you have a very skewed concept of what it's like to be gay out here. I think that you think it's all butterflies and roses here in California. And it's not just about California, it's about the world as a whole and the community as a whole. Like, I still don't necessarily know how to communicate that with them, but I also don't think that they would know because they are not seeing this day to day. And unless you tell someone you're mad at them or you tell someone they hurt your feelings, sometimes people are so fucking out of it, they're not even going to know. So I am of the opinion, and you can say your opinion, I am of the opinion that it is okay to express to your friends and family, like, I don't feel like you're supporting me. Even though you love me, I don't think you're doing as much as you could to be a better ally.
I absolutely agree with you on that. I think that everyone should feel the safety in their relationships where they can call someone out and say, "Hey, I don't think this is right. I don't think this is appropriate. I think you need to do more."
But
And no buts.
no, but
There is
and
there
okay.
is an and. And for all the queer people who are listening, a friendly reminder that regardless of whether you feel like you are able to communicate that with your parents or not, you are the child and they are the parent, and they owe you the responsibility of being kind and a good parent. And if you are not experiencing that, I am really sorry for you. And if you also have the strength to be able to tell people that, absolutely speak up. Never be afraid to lose a friend or something over the fact that you think that they are not providing a healthy support for you.
And if you do lose them, then they weren't a friend to begin with, because you should be able to express your feelings to your friends and family members.
Just make sure you have a good support system in place.
I love that. So basically what we're saying is go to Google, find the books, go to therapy, find the podcast, just take one step at a time, and don't be afraid, if you are trying to be an ally, to have and ask questions, have honest conversations with the person that you know and love from the LGBTQ plus community. And if you are a part of that community and you feel misunderstood or like you're not being heard by your friends and family, it should be okay, I think, to express that to them so that you can work together to be better.
And also, just because your parents love you and you don't think that they're a great ally doesn't mean that that's good enough. Remember that you are one person and you deserve to be loved, but they also have a responsibility to love your entire community, which is a part of you. So just like in your specific situation, yeah, your parents do love you, but what they're doing, what your family is doing, isn't always good enough. And it's okay to challenge them on that. And it's okay to not just accept the bare minimum, because everyone deserves the most amount of love and the most amount of respect.
Yeah, read a book straight. Get your shit together.
Listen to this podcast.
Educate yourselves. We should just all just be nice to each other. Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't that be great?
Before the world fucking implodes on itself.
I want you to remember this next time you're bullying me. Do you know what? That's another thing you can do. If you're a queer person, bully a straight person. It'll make you feel better. Bully a straight person.
Make them feel as bad as you felt your whole entire life. Every single day when you went to school. Make them feel like shit. Throw crumpled up paper at them and call them a faggot.
Okay, maybe don't do that, but yeah.
Don't call straight people a faggot. I hate that word. I can't believe I just said that, actually. I fucking hate it. I'm going to edit that out. That's for sure. Well, I feel like that wraps it up nicely. We're trying to keep these short and sweet, but thank you for joining me and sharing your allyship with me. No problem. And always being an ally and not a performative one. A true ally. And don't forget to kick those fucking bachelorette parties out of your gay club.
Oh, just trip those bitches down the stairs. They'll be out of there.
Good luck getting married at your very conventional fucking wedding.
Boo, straight people.
Divorce for life. Okay, thanks. I love you. Love you.
Now I have that on recording. Thank you.
Terrifying. Goodbye.
Bye.
And that is a wrap on this episode of Hot Air. Thank you all for listening and laughing and for letting me definitely overshare it. I hope my parents aren't mad at me, but hey, this is about me. It's not about them. If you loved what you heard, or even if you mildly enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. New ones drop every single Tuesday. And hey, let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on social media at Hot Air Pod. Right now, it's just Instagram for more hot takes, little behind the scene pictures. I do a lot of reels, from helpful things I've learned in therapy to little snippets from the podcast, just like easy to digest little clips, and maybe some questionable life advice. So until next time, and next time is next Tuesday, keep the air hot and the vibes hotter.